Let me ask Ellen. I mean, you have talked a lot about your own gender, your coming out and your issues with being public about who you are and gender identity. How are you feeling about that today? And do you feel like that either our conventions or the industry acceptance has changed even in the time that you've been working?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that things have changed. I guess there's just so far to go. So it's that's kind of how I feel. When I think of I came out publicly when I was 27 years old. Like, what? Like, I wasn't just talking about who I was and being my authentic self because I was an actress in Hollywood. That is so absurd. Like, that's absurd. And we need to look at these things as absurd, And then even since I've been out, not that it should matter either way, but the stuff that's been said to me that would perceive themselves as progressive in this industry is really appalling to me. So sometimes I go how is this actually going to go down multiple layers? How is this actually gonna start existing in the foundation versus just even though there have been changes, which is fantastic, noticeable. But I think, lots of those comments have really affected me and they stay with me.
What kinds of comments?
I remember I was, there's just a powerful sort of Asian person. And I had come out not long before, and I was very excited that Vice wanted to make this show I had pitched to them called Gaycation, documentary series. And, the responses just when I was talking about it was, we get it, you're gay. Too, the other thing I get a lot is, are you worried about being typecast playing queer? Because that's I play mostly lately. Mm-hmm. You would never ask a heterosexual actress that about getting typecast as straight. Mm-hmm. And why would I not want to play those roles? Why would I not want to play those roles? And it's, quite frankly, I'd be thrilled if it's every role I ever played ever again.
How do you feel today in terms of the environment to be working as a woman director and as an African-American woman director, which makes it all the more challenging today as opposed to when, say, you were doing Eve's Bayou?
I do really think that the landscape has changed. However, I've been optimistic before. There've been period of time before where I really thought we were on the brink of something, and that the world was about to change radically, and all of a sudden a huge tsunami of female directors were going to be working, and it hasn't happened. We would make some progress and we would regress, but 22 years ago I came here with my first film, and now it's incredible, really. What was that statistic?
It was 36% of the features here, of the films, yeah.
I mean, that's really amazing. So that's progress that we can see and that we can feel, Mm-hmm. And so it's really great to be. I'm thrilled to still be working in this kind of new world that I do believe that we're in, which is much more inclusive, and still has a long way to go, but feels like it's headed in the right direction.
Halina, talk to us about your film, which is very different from Casey's film, which is a historic drama, and Ellen's documentary. Yours is a very personal, intimate film. It's called Instinct.
Yeah, it's about a prison, and in the prison, it's based on true events where she is a psychologist and she treats a serial rapist, and they fall in love.
That is based on a true story?
Yes.
Wow.
It is a phenomenon. 5 years ago I saw a news program on it. It was actually called Love in Prison, and they researched this whole subject, and they found out that it was a phenomenon in these prisons that these kind of relationships would develop. But you have the same, like in America, for instance, where a female guard would help a male criminal to escape, and then she would end up in the cell that she helped him escape out of, because she then would get punished.
That's escape,
so
escape
it's a
from
common
Dannemora.
thing.
Yeah, well, I would say it's very revealing. It's deeply uncomfortable, the film. As somebody who sort of has written about the Me Too movement, and we're all trying to be very woke about what is acceptable behavior and not, you've chosen to do a really politically incorrect movie because Carice's character is attracted to this guy who's in jail for rape.
Yeah. I want to say that, for me, it's not so much a social drama about prison life or a comment on that kind of prison. It's just almost abstract theatrical story about sexuality and power. And I think I see myself as a full-blown feminist all the way, but I do think if we really want to be feminists, we should look at all the layers of our personality, and we should keep on have the courage to look at all the gray areas. And so that is what we try to do with this film, but I think it's a very feminist film, and I understand that it's very provocative, but I didn't make it to provoke. I just made it because it's an open wound for me. It's my own struggle with intimacy. It's my own struggle, like who am I as a woman? For me, my feeling is last week we got the right to vote. You know, who are we? You know, I mean, we have nothing, we don't know anything about ourselves.